What is the matter with dating today? A lot. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Where's the love? Where's the respect? Welcome. I'm Whitney Coburn, and this is our very first episode of the Love Coach in My Pocket podcast. So, welcome, sit back, relax, and hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Love Coach in My Pocket podcast. I'm Whitney Coburn, a dating and relationship expert and love coach, but I wasn't always an expert. Far from it. After battling years of heartbreak, I finally cracked the code to love. And now I'm here to share that hard-earned wisdom with you. You're in for a treat, getting the guidance you never learned growing up. Whether you're here for practical dating tips, expert relationship advice, or deep talks on healing, this podcast is your go-to resource for lasting love. Get ready to feel uplifted, inspired, and empowered in your love life. We are going to jump right in. I am going to be talking today about what is the matter with dating today. And geesh, there are so many different things that we could talk about. But what I've noticed is that the things that we need in long-term relationships to be happy, we need those things in the dating process. And the problem is that nobody wants to give it because nobody wants to be the one going out on a limb. Nobody wants to let another person know that they like them because, oh, that might push them away. We can't double text. All of the things that actually work in a happy, healthy, long-term relationship, which a lot of people have never even seen one of those because, let's face it, we all learn our relationship skills from mostly two places. One, our families, which I think they're all dysfunctional to some degree, some more than others, but it's hard to find a perfect relationship. Some people might have very good role models out there. And we learn our skills from TV and movies and media, right? Which is all about tragedy and comedy. And it's boring and rare to find actual healthy role models and happy couples in the media. We like the drama, right? We watch these shows for the breakups and the fights and the drama, and it's like, oh, then we wonder why our own love life is full of tragedy and comedy. So I'm just going to focus on today for this episode, and there will be many more topics that we can go deep into later, but love and respect. And I'm going to go ahead and say that naturally, the masculine and the feminine are also different. All right. And I know that there's all kinds of exceptions, but even in same-sex relationships, there tends to be a more masculine, a more feminine. It could be just men and women. So I might say men and women. Forgive me if I'm overgeneralizing. I do know that that doesn't describe everyone accurately, but what we really want in relationships is women want to feel loved, cherished, honored, cared for. It's the most important thing. And for men, the most important thing is to be respected. And yes, of course, we all want both. A man still wants to feel loved. But if you're in the middle of a fight, and most fights within couples happen because she's not feeling loved or he's not feeling respected. So I'm not going to talk about the long-term relationship so much right now. I want to talk about dating because that's where the crisis is happening. I think everyone is struggling right now with dating. What if we just make a simple act to add more respect into dating? And I know what you're going to say is, it's everybody else. It's all the jerks. It's all the ghosting people. But you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. So be the change that you want to see in the world. Start treating people the way that you want to be treated. And when you do your own inner work and you gain your self-worth and confidence and you know your boundaries, then you don't need to worry so much about what other people are doing and saying. And if there is a jerk, you let it roll off your back and you move on. I always say that dating is like looking for a needle in a haystack. don't get distracted by all the hey. This one did this and this one did this. Like, move on, get over it. It's okay. You're there to find someone special, to find your person. And as soon as we realize that someone is not what we want, it's important to move on. Don't sit around waiting for somebody to change their mind about you. Don't sit around waiting for somebody to change. You need to be able to accept that person as they are. Where's the respect? There is so much respect lacking in dating today. Just simply sending someone a message and not ever getting a reply. That's not respectful. It's disrespectful. The way that we're super judgmental, rolling our eyes at people because of how they look or what they're into, without being curious. I find that curiosity is the perfect antidote to judgment. So if you're being judgmental about yourself, be curious, ask questions. Why did I do that? Why is this happening? And same thing with dates and other people. Just be curious, ask them a question. If they're not a match for you, you don't have to continue seeing them, but you should be able to tolerate someone's company for at least the duration of a date, like an hour. Never plan a first date that lasts more than an hour. It's great if you end up hitting it off and it does last more than an hour, but you don't want to be stuck with somebody that you don't like. So how else can we bring more respect into dating? This comes up a lot, that men get inappropriate, that they ask for, oh, I want to see a picture of you. I forgot what you look like. And what I advise is you don't have to give in. You don't even have to play along. A really great tip is, you must be confusing me for the me 6 months from now that knows you really well and is willing to do that with you. Or you could just say, that's not really my thing, or I just don't know you that well. But the problem that I see happening is that women are completely shutting down a man's desire. And if you're looking for the love of your life and your partner, to some degree, we want him to have a fire burning for us. We want him to want to look at us. So most guys that are inappropriate, we just need to cut it off, set a boundary, no way. But someone that's very lightly, gently leaning in that direction, testing the waters, maybe it's on a date and he's asking about what you're doing in the morning and you think he's hinting at something. Can we just appreciate the fact that he has a desire, appreciate the fact that he's interested, that he wants to, and we can leave it at that, right? Not saying you have to do anything, but if you just shut it down, how could you talk like that? I mean, this is going to be the same person that 4 months from now, that's going to be totally fine. I think that there's a lot of overreaction and overprotection because we've been hurt, because we really have seen the jerks and the people that are really disrespectful. But then there's Mr., nice guy that just says something that triggers you because it reminds you of what all these other jerks are saying. How else can we bring respect? Being honest, speaking our truth. There's a lot of talk about women and our journey towards feminism and having equal rights. And it doesn't mean that we have to choose one or the other, that it's either women or it's men. So can we respect men? Can we respect the challenges that they go through? Yes, they want to provide and protect, but not always, not right away. We can't be expecting those things and then judging, criticizing, eye rolling, name calling. We need to get rid of all of that stuff because it's disrespectful and it's not going to work in the early stages of dating, and it's definitely not going to work if you get to the later stages of dating. Men most crave respect, and women most crave being loved. So obviously you can't just expect someone to love you right in the beginning when you're dating, but you can create that feeling and those habits that you honor her, that you respect her. This love that we crave shows up in different ways. It might be just that we want to feel close to our partner, physically, proximity. And again, not too soon,
because we need to get comfortable first. Somebody needs to be able to say they're sorry, right? To apologize, to make peace. Some people just love the fight and they're just addicted to it. And it's never going to be a long, happy, healthy relationship when you're always fighting and bickering. And it doesn't have to be. You can learn new ways to communicate. Opening up. This is a great one for a first date, second date. Don't talk about your ex. I hope you know that by now. But open up a little bit. Talk about your relationship with one of your relatives that you love, or a challenge that you went through in school. You don't have to dump all of your dirty laundry and tell them all the reasons why they shouldn't date you and why you're crazy. Nobody wants to hear that. But they also don't want to hear that, oh, work's great. Everything's great. Oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, this is great too. And that's like, have something interesting to say, have some stories. And what people are really craving these days is vulnerability. Vulnerability is being open to attack. So that's why it's so scary. But it's also 100% necessary. If you're never vulnerable in your dates, then it's never going to turn into a love relationship, because vulnerability is required. We need to be seen and known and felt, both in our most vulnerable moments and most powerful version of ourselves. That's really when we have love. But going back to in the early stages of dating, just understanding, and this again comes with the curiosity. I think we make way too many assumptions and don't communicate enough in the early stages of dating. If somebody were to ask me out on a date for Friday and then I don't hear a word from them, I'm not going to be making the assumption that, oh, the date's off, oh, they forgot, oh, they don't care about me, oh, they're a horrible person. I get that they're probably busy, but I would reach out. I would confirm. I would check. I wouldn't sit there and stew and just be mad and play this game where I can't reach out to them. You can reach out to them. They're just people. I think this is like, we need to stop being so worried about being rejected. And again, this requires the inner healing that I teach as a coach. A lot of what I do is not the practical strategy. I will give that away left and right. I give webinars, I do talks. I'm going to be talking about it on this podcast. The work that I do is really the healing work, the embodiment, the experience of healing our past traumas and opening to a love unlike anything that we've ever experienced before. And of course, there is some technique and strategy that we have along the way. But today, what I want to leave you with is, let's bring back respect into the dating scene. Let's actually allow people to get to know us. Let's assume that we could potentially love this person. So let's honor them instead of just being harsh and critical and judgmental and quick to write people off. I mean, nobody wants to waste time, but you vet someone and you go out and you don't spend more than an hour and you gain something from that experience. You learn something, even if this is not your partner. You have an opportunity to practice being vulnerable, practice speaking up for yourself, practice the right kind of dating skills. Because when you are in the habit of being a good communicator, respectful, and open to the other person, then you will create a lot more of that in your life and attract people that can fit in with that. So thanks for being here. This was our very first episode. We'll be doing many more on the Love Coach in My Pocket podcast, because you need a love coach. And now you have one at all times right in your pocket. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Love Coach in My Pocket, where we talk about love, dating, relationships, healing, and all sorts of topics related to these. Don't forget also to download the Love Coach in My Pocket app from the App Store for tons of free resources to support you on your journey.